GM, everybody. We're back with Music NFT Radio, and we're here to talk about another very important topic for NFTs, for Web3, for NFT marketing, and that is Twitter Spaces, where we're live right now with the whole community. So thank you for tuning in, guys. If you're here now, retweet the space, get more people into the room. If you're on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you might be listening, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Music NFT Radio. We're putting out amazing content every single day and supporting artists and hosting a live space for NFT marketing, giving a lot of knowledge, information, alpha that's going to help you guys be successful here in Web3 and build an organic NFT community. And ultimately, with NFT marketing, we want to help you guys make more sales. So we bring up artists, we let them show off their projects, we introduce them to the community, we give everyone a chance to win together. So if you're here now, you're here to win. Let's go, baby. All right, let's get into it because we have an important topic today. And it's a basic, simple topic, but it's something that's so important for every NFT creator, everybody in Web3, and really anyone who's listening to this that's just wondering, what is Twitter Spaces? So we're going to talk about what is Twitter Spaces, this platform that we're using for live audio. And we're going to hear some experiences from creators who are using Twitter Spaces right now. And we're going to talk a little bit about the history of Twitter Spaces. I've been using Twitter Spaces basically since it came out 2 to 3 years ago, and I've been active in the community even longer than that with the live audio chat apps going back to Clubhouse. So let's just first say, to answer the question, basically, Twitter Spaces is a live audio app. It's kind of like a group phone call where anybody can chime in and chat in the conversation. And it's great. It's on the Twitter application here. So you can just go ahead and tune into Twitter from your phone. And you'll find some Twitter Spaces live. You might have to search the Twitter Spaces hashtag if you're a new user, or look around a bit on Twitter, because a lot of new users, I've noticed, maybe they don't follow somebody who has Twitter Spaces. But it's pretty easy to find. Go ahead into the Twitter app on your phone, click on the Spaces tab, or search around your timeline, or search in the search bar for Twitter Spaces. You'll certainly find some live ones. They're live 24/7, and they're phone calls that anybody can tune into and listen in the audience or come up on the stage and be a live speaker. There's a limit of 10 speakers that can be on the stage at a time. But typically, hosts will shift speakers out and give everyone a chance to come up and chat with the community. So it's a great way to network in a live phone call experience. It's a little bit different than other apps that we see for networking, such as Discord or such as Telegram, which are heavily chat-focused apps. Twitter Spaces is all focused on live audio. So in many ways, it's similar to a podcast, but anybody can call in and be a part of the conversation at any time. So that's the basic answer to what is Twitter Spaces. But also, I want to go through a quick history of the live chat apps. So originally, there was Clubhouse, which is a great application, and that's where I started with live audio, and it's pretty much the same as Twitter Spaces, but it came before Twitter Spaces. And Twitter Spaces, in a way, was really like a clone of what Clubhouse had created. And, Twitter responded quickly to the growth of the Clubhouse app with making a pretty much clone of the technology that Clubhouse innovated on to compete with Clubhouse. And Clubhouse was great, and I used to be a part of the NFT community over there, and we helped to onboard so many people. It was called NFTs.tips. So I was a big part of NFTs.tips, and I helped to onboard thousands of people into the NFT community, collectors, artists, creators. We were there every single day, every morning, supporting, showing up, and it was only live audio, only like Twitter Spaces, what you see here. So on Clubhouse, there was absolutely no social media text element like you see on Twitter. And ultimately, Twitter created Twitter Spaces, and it was immediately better than Clubhouse because you had your full Twitter account there. You could tweet, you could pin stuff up at the top. I mean, Clubhouse didn't even have a way to pin stuff. So when you wanted to share a link on Clubhouse, you'd actually have to tell someone what to do or what to look up. There was no way to share anything in Clubhouse days. So Twitter innovated in a few ways. that made it the leading, live audio app, and that's been huge. And so another thing that I can add is that since the beginning of Clubhouse, NFTs have really become such a big part of what has helped these live audio apps grow. So that's why we talk about NFTs and Web3 and crypto so much here on these apps. And you see a lot of Twitter spaces are about crypto or NFTs or Web3 or some type of investing and financial stuff as well. Because Twitter has been an app that's largely finance focused in a lot of ways. There's a huge finance community, crypto community, NFT community here on Twitter. And for some reason, this has just become the ultimate platform for buying, selling, trading NFTs, cryptos, and all different types of Web3 assets. So even from the early days in Clubhouse, NFTs were some of the biggest, most popular rooms on the app. So someone who's newer coming in should probably understand that these live audio apps have largely been driven by the NFT community. Like a huge percentage of what happens on Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces over the last 3-4 years or whatever it's been has been all from NFT community, Web3 community. So that's why NFTs are so big on Twitter Spaces. That's why you see them all around. That's why Twitter Spaces is the best way to sell NFTs, because it's really been like hand in hand, the growth of Clubhouse app, the growth of Twitter Spaces, and the growth of NFTs and Web3. And you definitely see that throughout the whole space. So there's a little bit of history and some answers to what is Twitter Spaces. And before we move on to hear about some artist experiences, I want to tell you guys a little bit of the basics for Twitter Spaces, how to use it, and a little bit of etiquette. So first thing on Twitter Spaces etiquette is when you're not speaking, mute your mic. So say something and then mute your mic after you're done speaking so that someone else can respond or say something. Now, in special cases, maybe you won't do that if it's a back and forth type of thing. Obviously, people will go crazy, but when you're first coming up on the space, I notice a lot of people do not understand that. So, respond to someone, mute your mic, give them a chance to respond. Don't necessarily just leave your mic open and keep talking, or talk over people and don't give other people a chance to respond. Also, when you get brought up onto the stage, don't immediately start speaking. Most of the time when you get brought up, someone will have to call on you or ask you to speak. So I've seen a lot of people, they get brought up, they think it's immediately their chance to speak. And I've actually felt, when I was new, I remember being in that boat too. But don't speak just right when you're brought up because you're excited. We get it. But just be patient and wait for your turn and hang out on the stage, because a big part of the value is just to be a speaker up on the stage, just to be involved in the conversation. So even just hanging out at the top of the stage, people will find your account and they'll support you. So just be patient when it's your turn to come up and speak. And the other thing is, try to keep the vibes positive and supportive. That's what I say. Those are the type of spaces I like to be involved in. If you go up on a space as a speaker, always retweet the room. And if you're in here right now, even if you're just a listener, always try to retweet and support the room to get more people in there, because it really helps. You could go to the bottom right of any space and click the spaces button there, and you'll be able to actually go ahead and like and retweet the proper tweet to the space. Usually you'll also see stuff pinned up at the top of the room, which you can click on to support the space and help others. And lastly, as far as how to use spaces, I'll say don't be afraid to go up and share. It's okay if you're new. Let people know that you're new. Don't be afraid to go up and share something, your opinion, some of your art, joining into an amazing community that's here on the spaces. And also don't forget to follow other people and support other people in the room. If you're in a room, make sure you always go follow the host, co-hosts, and other people in the room. Personally, I don't even bring people up to the stage unless they're following and supporting the space. So also go join the Discord of the communities you hop in. Join on Discord or Telegram or whatever chat app you use. But I would say getting Discord is almost an essential next step of Twitter Spaces. Almost every Twitter Spaces host is using Discord in some way. So get on the Discord app. It's a great chat app, and it really just extends the Twitter Spaces community to be like a 24/7 text chat to go with your Twitter Spaces live audio. That's how I view it. Twitter Spaces is like the live show we do every day. Discord is like the 24/7 chat for if you're not in the show, or if you just want to write something or share something or find more collectors and network with the community as a whole. So this is a crash course in what is Twitter Spaces, how do you use it. Make sure to support others, follow others in the room, follow the hosts and co-hosts if you want to come onto the stage and speak, and go support things that are pinned up at the top to support other artists and give them a chance and an opportunity. And whenever you come into Music NFT Radio or the NFT Marketing Show, you're welcome to come up, share some of your art, introduce yourself to the community, tell us what you're about, tell us what you create. What's your story? We want to hear it. So come on into the show on Music NFT Radio. We're live every day with NFT marketing. And we just want to make an opportunity for the whole community, the whole family to be heard and seen and collected from and supported out here. And there's been so many people that have sold artworks and sold NFTs here live on the show. So we help to facilitate connections for everyone. And we also help to give alpha and information about NFT marketing. So if you're new to NFTs, or if you're new to Web3, or if you're new to Twitter Spaces, I think a lot of this information will be very valuable for you to grow your community. So hope that was helpful, guys, as far as what is Twitter Spaces go. And today we have a special guest, which is SuperSpacesAI here. And SuperSpaces actually does analytics for Twitter Spaces. So they give you the down low on how many people have tuned in, how active have you been in terms of how many hours did you spend on Twitter Spaces. And they create some rankings and ecosystem for people to view who are the top leaders in all of Twitter Spaces. And so it's pretty cool technology. It's great to see. And Super Spaces, thanks for coming up. I would really love for you to talk just a little bit about the alpha on Twitter Spaces and what is it doing for creators and what is it doing for all types of industries. It's not just NFTs and Web3, of course. There's more to it, but why don't you just share a little bit? Because this is a basic conversation. I know you do in-depth analytics and complicated stuff, but let's keep it basic. Like, just explain in a different way. What is this Twitter Spaces platform doing for creators?
Dude, that's a great question, Dylan, and I really appreciate you having me on today. I'm excited to kind of really get into the nitty-gritty of this and talk about Twitter Spaces and what it's currently doing for creators. The way I really like to look at it is basically Twitter Spaces is similar to what you said. It's just where live audio conversations happen. And so obviously Twitter being a social networking app, it incorporating audio like this provides a really great opportunity there for some live social audio, as well as some live social networking opportunities for people. And so I think Twitter Spaces inherently allow more of a reach for the people that are using them. It's the live spaces appear at the top of the timeline, and it makes it easy for people to join your space. And in addition to that, it also makes it easier for people to find and discover you as a creator, whether that's through the spaces that you're creating or even just through the art that you're creating. If you're hopping into spaces and sharing that with other people, it's really a great opportunity to enhance that reach as a creator. In addition to that, I think it allows a lot of control. And so if you are someone that is personally hosting your spaces, I think having control on the flow of that conversation, the direction in which it's going, really gives the ability to show yourself to that community as a creator, and kind of how your brain works and how your actual thought process is going in terms of creating that content. And so that's really great as well. And then I think the third thing is it allows the opportunity for people to connect. And so having live audio conversations allow you to really connect with your audience in a new way. And obviously, with us providing those analytics and things to people in regards to what it is that they're doing here in their Twitter spaces, it really gives you a CRM, or that like customer relationship management opportunity, to really know who your audience is, who are those loyal listeners, and really be able to engage and connect with those people over time.
Absolutely, man. And it allows us to really connect with people one-on-one in a way where we can talk back and forth, almost like a conversation in real life. It's certainly better than just a text chat in the DMs. And, it's almost as good as a conversation that you can have with people IRL. Now, nothing beats that in-person connection you can make meeting face-to-face, but this gets you pretty damn close. It allows you to connect with people one-on-one. There's real people that are grinding and hustling, so there's always opportunities out here. And just like you said, I think you mentioned a really important thing. Like, it's featured at the top of Twitter on everyone's timeline. So Twitter Spaces have become prominent in the app, and a lot of people tune in. So it's the opportunity to expand your network and basically host like a live podcast that's promoted on Twitter. I mean, everybody understands, Instagram Live and Twitch and some of this technology, but it's been amazing to see how the audio only format has been successful. I think the video camera puts a little bit extra pressure on the creator and the host and even the people that want to come in to be on camera, whereas audio only is a little bit more comfortable for people because you can be in your freaking pajamas and your glasses and your underwear and still be here talking on the spaces. So, it's a great format, and it's been amazing for creators around the world that have had the opportunity to come on here and sell some art, and we've helped facilitate so many sales just here live on the spaces. And I want to give a shout out to you, Super Spaces, for improving the user experience here and offering some analytics and some ways for creators to take advantage of this platform even further.
Yeah, man. Obviously, the goal here is really to try to allow creators the opportunity to have the ball back in their side of the court. I think a lot of social media platforms have kind of taken that away from creators, and we want creators to have the power. We want them to be able to create what it is that they're looking to build, and we want them to be able to have memorable experiences here on this platform. And so we think that by giving them the power to continue to build and brand themselves out, whether that be through the use of IP or just through the use of their art and what it is that they're creating, we really want them to be as successful as possible and release the best content possible for the people that would be consuming it.
Absolutely, man. And that's what we're enabling here. And it also just allows you to really find the best consumers for your content in a way that's never been possible before. And I can see that as a creator myself who's been building here every day. And one thing I'll say with Twitter Spaces and NFTs as well, which is pretty cool, is that even if I don't sell an NFT, even if I don't make a sale today, obviously I'd like to make a sale every day. Who wouldn't? But even if you don't make a sale every day, this seems to be the fastest way to grow my community and grow my music audience and grow as a creator that I've ever found. I'm consistently growing here on Twitter every day, getting 100, 200, maybe even more followers per day. And from an analytical perspective, it's just great to see that growth because I've been working on Instagram and I've tried TikTok and YouTube and all this stuff for years. But I've never found such a consistent way to grow like what's happening for the Twitter Spaces community. So for me as a creator, it's amazing because, I've been working hard for years to find a way to grow consistently. And because of Twitter Spaces, that's happening for me. So even if I don't sell an NFT, I feel like this is the fastest way to also get more people interested in my music and other things that I'm going to be doing down the line. So that's a pretty unique thing that most people wouldn't realize on the surface.
Well, it's really interesting that you bring that up because personally, I would absolutely agree with you. And if you look back in terms of history and actual news and history that's being released to people, the reality of it is oral tradition was the first time that people really passed down stories from generation to generation and really passed down kind of their experiences. And so speaking to people back and forth like this really has been something that's been around since the beginning of time. It only makes sense that we incorporate that into our social platforms and use that as a powerful tool to connect with other people and really build community, because that's been obviously very successful throughout the course of history.
Absolutely, dude, and that's a really good point to bring up. Is that the audio experience here definitely provides something more beyond what a text or an email or a DM can provide, and we're all so used to maybe getting a cold DM on LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter DMs, and it doesn't create a real connection when somebody messages you something. It's a lot tougher to get to that real connection through a text experience. But with audio, it just feels a lot more natural. You feels like you really get to talk to people, and you can get a lot more done even more quickly. And people are happy to support you and buy your art and support the products that you might be selling here on Twitter Spaces. And we have a lot of examples of that here, right here in the community. So next, I would love to talk to a few of the artists who have been coming in here and selling some NFTs. And guys, I just want you all to just give a quick little, let them know your name, maybe where you're from or what kind of art you do, and just how Twitter Spaces has helped you. So let's just keep it pretty basic, and we'll give a few people a chance to just say how Twitter Spaces has helped them as a creator. So let's go to Jane first. Jane, what's up?
Hey, Dill. Yeah, thanks for the history on the spaces. I never even heard of Clubhouse, and I didn't know that the spaces are majority of NFTs. I didn't know that. So
I don't
thank
know if it's majority, just to be accurate. I know that Spaces and Clubhouse and NFTs and Web3 has been, in a large part influenced by each other. I don't know if the majority of Spaces are NFTs, just for anybody out there who's going to be like, that's not true. But yeah, but anyway, it's definitely been a significant part of the growth of live audio applications.
I would make the argument there, though, Dill, that the majority of NFTs are on Twitter Spaces.
That is true. I would say a really large portion of NFTs are sold on Twitter Spaces. So, not trying to take anything away from it, but just for the people out there who are, wanting to get the facts 100% straight. I don't know if it's the majority, but it's been a major influencing factor. So, yeah, I mean, that's why I wanted to do this too, because most people don't really know the full story, and I've been involved for a long time, so I've been uniquely able to see the whole thing grow and develop. And I know where it came from. I know where it's headed. That's how I feel. So I'm excited about the whole community, and I'm bullish on what we have going on here. So, Jane, please go ahead and tell us a little bit about how Twitter Spaces has been helpful for you as an artist, because you're definitely making the most of it.
Yeah, definitely, Dill. I'm the Twitter Spaces has totally helped me like connect with people, and it's awesome. I'm very new to it, like August, and you meet people from all over the world. I mean, I had no idea this was even happening on Twitter. So, but it's helped me find collectors, and it's helped me meet new friends. And it's also helped me because I'm like an introvert, and I'm not my like talking and putting sentences together in words. I don't know. That's not my strong suit. So even though I still get nervous talking, I still do it because I learn from other people, because there's so many, even you, Dill, you speak very well, and like people that speak well and just communicate. I learn from that, and I think the more that I do it, I'm hoping the better I'll get at talking and stuff. So yeah, that's my little
I
thing.
agree 100%. Well, I also feel like I've learned to become a better speaker from being here. I got to give a shout out to like Doodlegenics, who's always helped me learn how to co-host and host, and being in his spaces really gave me the inspiration as well as the practice and experience to host my own spaces, and really be a solid host. And so it's others in the community that we work with that help us to grow, and help us to learn, and help us to be involved. Because Doodle is someone that I only met a few months, maybe almost a year ago, and I was on Twitter Spaces long before I knew Doodle, but still he's been influenced me to be a much better host, and do things a little bit differently. So that's cool. You never know who you're gonna meet along the way and how they're gonna influence your journey as a creator. There really are great people here on the Twitter Spaces every single day. So yeah, it's amazing. And yeah, let's give some other creators a chance to share as well. So thank you, Jane. And Jane, you've made so many spaces sales here on the Twitter Spaces, and here in the NFT marketing show, and with Music NFT Radio and Dill. So we're happy to have you here, of course. And let's talk to some other creators who have made a lot of sales on the Twitter Spaces. Santino, my man, are you there?
Hey, Dill, where the hell else would I be, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing great, man. And we're always happy to have you here and support you. You're another artist who's made a lot of sales through the Twitter Spaces. And we're just going through just the basics of Twitter Spaces. And I would love for you to share just how Twitter Spaces has helped you as a creator.
Uh, Twitter Spaces helping me as a creator. Um, if I were to put it in a simple way, um, I probably started off doing the similar thing like everyone did. I came and thought my art would speak for itself, and the sale was like a no-brainer. But Twitter Spaces has taught me how to connect with people. That's for starters. And also, it has also taught me several deeper lessons into the NFTs, such as the how collectors invest in the artist more than the artwork, and how consistency is probably the best form of what's it called, engagement or method of going towards the NFTs that most people do not do. And the biggest one of the biggest surprises I got gained from Twitter Spaces is that a lot of things that you would read on Google or see on YouTube were outdated compared to the information you could get from Spaces. The amount of information was pretty much always live. Like you'd be reading something and saying, "Oh, this is true." 'Cause I remember a point where even Foundation was a curated space when I still around when I was around, and then suddenly they said, no, you can. In Twitter Space, they said that you could actually just register and mint. And then I went to Google the same second and said that, and I'm like, no, what are you talking about? And I said, let me try and see what this guy's right. And then I found out the guy who said it was right. And apparently, Google was slacking off and did not update yet. So Twitter Spaces has not just been a form of connecting to other artists, connecting to collectors, has been a great source of information. But even though there is a lot of BS, a lot of people don't know what they like to talk about, that they like to hear themselves talk. But there's a lot of very, very precious information on Twitter Spaces. That's what I've noticed, and that's what I learned. Back to you, Del, man.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's a great perspective, too, just to think about that. And I mean, on top of all of that, you've been able to make some great sales here in the community too. So I think it's awesome because it's more than just making NFT sales or selling your art or growing in the community. It's also about the information that you're able to get here. And yeah, like you said, I mean, the most up to date information kind of happens here. It's better than some of these other even news outlets or other ways that you can find information within the internet. So yeah, man, it's awesome to hear that perspective, and we're always happy to have you here, and we'll certainly come back to you in a couple minutes to share as well. And next up, I wanted to actually let's see if Cayden is there. Cayden, if you want to just share the basic of how Twitter Spaces has helped you as a creator in a few words, we'd love to hear from you as well. All right, well, maybe Cayden's busy. What about Dream? Dream, are you there? Oh, Dream is sleeping. All right. Well, how about Angai?
Hey man.
What's up, my friend? How you doing? We're just talking about Twitter Spaces, and I would love for you to share in a few words how Twitter Spaces has helped you as a creator and also helping kids in Africa with what you're doing. So pretty amazing, man. So please share for us how has the Twitter Spaces helped you with what you're doing as a creator and as a teacher?
Yeah, uh, the Twitter Spaces. I think I've actually been on Twitter Spaces for about 6, 7 months, and it has helped show the world like um, how creative young kids are in Africa, and the need to actually take the technology that is out there to millions of people and give it to some kid and try to inspire them and show the world that like there are teachers around the world who want to teach, who don't necessarily care about making lots of money or making profits. And I actually got to see that there are people all over the world who want to support what I do. And that gives me love, because for about 17 years I've been trying to get people to come into the dream, and not necessarily getting the love, but getting the love from Twitter space, from the world. Like that actually, like, it gets me so inspired. Like, gets me so inspired. Yeah. Then also Twitter space has gotten me to write poetry, because I am a poet, and I've been so inspired to write more than 50 poems this year alone. So that's like Twitter space inspiring, like from NFT. So yeah, Twitter space has actually been, I'll say, a revelation to me. Yeah, so it's been awesome.
That's awesome, man. And you're doing so much to help kids down in Africa as well. I know you always share that you bought them a computer. Is that right? You were actually able to get the kids a computer relatively quickly here in the Web3
Yes,
space.
yes, yes. Yeah, Web3 actually made it possible uh for the donations that came in through our NFT, so we could get like kids from a local school, we could get them a computer. And it was like super awesome, because seeing the smiles on their faces, like that was done through Twitter space, done through NFT Web3. So it was awesome. Yes, we actually got, like, cheers to you, because you actually got me to put in the movement through the NFT marketing and all. So big ups to you.
Absolutely, dude. That's all I want to do is I want to see more people winning. I want to see more people getting an opportunity to be successful here in Web3 and have everything they deserve in terms of recognition and people paying attention to their projects. So much love to you, my friend. Thank you for coming in, and keep coming back to the community. Keep showing up, keep supporting, keep showing love, and we're going to be here to support you back. You know what I mean? So let's get it, my friend. Awesome. Well, let's keep it growing and going, guys. If you're here now, retweet the space. If you're listening in on the Music NFT Radio podcast, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please go ahead and like and comment and subscribe and support this podcast. We appreciate you listening in, and hopefully you learned a little bit about Twitter Spaces and what it's doing for creators. Let's give liquidnfts.com a chance as well. If you want to share a little bit about how Twitter Spaces has helped with the platform you're building and want to share that as well, please go ahead.
Yeah, so Twitter Spaces has like helped me with like being nervous speaking in front of people. I mean, it's kind of weird because you can't see the people, but like it's helped me to like grow in terms of public speaking. It's helped me to learn about other people's cultures that I had no access to before, kind of like with the guy that was just speaking from Africa. Like I learned a lot about Indian people the other day being on one of their spaces. Uh, it's helped me to like learn how to build connections with people that are very different from uh like people from where I grew up, because I grew up in Miami. I live in Mexico now, but uh yeah, it's just helped me. It's helping me all around, just like with my development, because like I just started working full time in Web3, and like I kind of volunteered to do it at first, and then the founder just like kind of told me that he was gonna hire me. So like it's been helping me just like develop skills and learn new things, and just be. It's given me a way to like do what I love, like for work, instead of doing something like I don't want to do.
Absolutely, man, and that's also what it's about. Is it's enabling people to chase their dreams and do something they're passionate about. I think we've seen a lot of that here. Is that people are really bringing into the Twitter Spaces some of their art and some of that work that they're super passionate about. So everybody's got something valuable to share or a project that they might be working on themselves. So there's a lot of people supporting each other here in the spaces, and yeah, I also find that it's just a truly supportive community. I mean, people really do support each other out here, buy their NFTs. I mean, collect from others. It truly does happen every single day. So we love to see it. And just like you said, it's more than that, because it's going to also help you improve your public speaking skills and other things that you might be able to benefit from here in the community. So I love that take, my friend, and thank you for coming in. So, guys, let's go. Let's go. If you're listening in right now, thank you for listening to the podcast, baby. Let's get it. So go ahead and retweet the NFT marketing tweet up at the top. Make sure you're following some of our friends here on the stage. Follow Dill, follow Music NFT Radio, follow Super Spaces. Thank you for coming in, Super Spaces, and being a part of the podcast. It'll be great. It's an important topic for years to come. What is Twitter Spaces? I think we covered most of the basics here. Someone could probably listen to the podcast and have a decent idea what happens on Twitter Spaces without even checking it out. But if you're listening and you haven't checked out Twitter Spaces, just get on the Twitter app on your phone, hop into a space, listen in, and I think you'll enjoy some of the content that gets created there. And of course, come into the NFT marketing show. Usually every morning, Eastern Standard Time, we'll be active and live on the spaces, and we'll be supporting communities. We'll be bringing them up on the stage. We'll be supporting artists, creators, collectors. You can always come in and ask a question, even if it's like a complete newbie question. That's totally fine, guys. Don't ever be nervous. In the NFT marketing spaces, you can ask a question. You can come share your art, introduce yourself to the community. I'm really positive and supportive, and we all are. The whole community, positive and supportive vibes here in the space. So, for anyone new to Twitter Spaces, you're more than welcome in the NFT marketing show. Tap in with some of our good friends. And Super Spaces, you want to say anything before we close out the podcast here?
Yeah, just if you are a little bit afraid to hop up on the mic at any point, don't be. No one's here to judge you. Everybody here on Twitter Spaces that I've met so far seems to be pretty kind, and they all seem like they're looking to help people grow, and they're looking to grow themselves. And so ultimately, it's a very, very great community to be a part of amongst creators and amongst people. Everyone's striving to be a better version of themselves. And so it's definitely a lot of fun. And I encourage you to take that leap of faith and go ahead and give it a try if you haven't already. And if you're not necessarily interested in NFTs, don't worry, because there are plenty of Twitter spaces out there. There's a space for just about every topic of conversation. And so if NFTs or cryptocurrency aren't necessarily your forte or something that you're interested in, definitely still take a look at it and find yourself a space that might be about music, like Dill Spaces, or find yourself a space that might be about sports. If you like sports, they definitely have those. And so definitely take the chance and go out and try to make some new friends here on Twitter Spaces.
Absolutely, man. That's a great way to close it out. It's a great point. There's literally a space for anything. So we can leave it with that, guys. Thanks for tuning in, coming to the live show. Check into the podcast. And if you're here on the Twitter Spaces, we're not going anywhere. The show is not done yet. We're just closing out our podcast for Music NFT Radio podcast. So go ahead to YouTube, Music NFT Radio. You'll find the show. Subscribe to our channel. We're almost at 100 subscribers, guys. And I've just been slowly telling people to go ahead and follow it. You know, not stressing, not really sending the link out, but just telling people, hey, go to YouTube, search Music NFT Radio, follow the podcast. You can be one of our first 100 subscribers right now. So come support while we're still getting started. But this content's amazing. It's going to be around for years to come, and people are going to keep discovering the podcast through YouTube, through all podcast sites like Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So wherever you're at, subscribe, like, comment. Help us get this engagement up, baby, and especially if you're in the live space, help us get more people in the room. Until next time, podcasters, let's go.